Joining me in studio to talk about this, LeeAnne Lynch and Elizabeth Emanuel. This case is a new one for us at Court TV. Elizabeth, to you first. It's intriguing because there's this witchcraft part of it, but then you've got a defendant that said he didn't do it, but he was there.
Right. So the issue with this case is you're going to have to be able to substantiate this motive. If they're saying that this is the result of witchcraft and he killed them as part of some sort of ceremonial act, the state is going to have to be able to prove that and then put the pieces together to show this is really his motive and this is not some sort of goose chase that we're kind of trying to fit these pieces in to show that this was his motive.
Right. So basically what happened is his mother and his two half-brothers stepbrothers, they live in a home that is near his house in Pensacola, in the Pensacola area. He goes over there every Tuesday, apparently. He cooks them dinner. They have a relationship which is, by all accounts, he was at the house a lot. However, according to investigators, his mother had written him out of her will. Right. And that is going to be a huge part of this in terms of motivation. But then you also have the intriguing part of the witchcraft, where he is pagan. He told investigators right away, he says, I'm a Wicca / pagan person. They found in his home basically an altar, a room where he would conduct his praying, wherever he did. I don't know what they do, but he has a room for it. Right. And then apparently there's this blue moon ceremony, which coincided with the date of the deaths within a few days. And investigators right away was like, oh my gosh, this is part of this ritual. He's denying that, but this is going to be very interesting to see if it comes out in trial. The defense team says this should not be part of it. They don't want the will to come into this. They don't want the pagan rituals to come into it. But LeeAnne, the prosecution absolutely wants this in there because you start thinking as a juror, it's intriguing.
Well, of course they do, and I think this defense has its job cut out for it to try and keep this out. It could be unfairly prejudicial, inflame the hearts and the minds of the jury, and really just get people riled up over nothing. The real
question,
is it
nothing, though?
That's the real question. I mean, there's also some evidence that this may have been a financially motivated murder, and so is the witchcraft aspect of it really just a wild goose chase?
But the witchcraft, technically, I know we're getting pretty deep into the pagan rituals here, but the ceremony, this blue moon ceremony, is it's a prosperity thing. So if you want to be prosperous, you do this. You kill these people. Apparently, you're supposed to kill somebody in 3 different ways, and of course this is all just pagan stuff. Right. It's not, we're not advocating it, or it's not truth for sure. But this is all part of this theme that investigators. I mean, we're not making this. Investigators thought this was the motive. Right. So why shouldn't it come in?
Well, that's my point too. I don't understand why it wouldn't come in if this is going towards the state's motive or state's reason for why he would have killed these individuals. It's certainly, they can argue that it's relevant. The only other, I guess, opposition to that would be, as LeeAnne said, that it would be unduly prejudicial, that it would incite the hearts and minds of jurors. But to me, if it goes towards the state's case in chief to prove motive, to prove the reason why he did this, it's certainly relevant. Now, I do feel like you do kind of go into, as LeeAnne said, a wild goose chase, because the state has to present evidence that this is really what he intended to do based on these pagan rituals. And you sort of get into extrinsic evidence. So I do believe that it could be relevant, but I do also believe that the court could give a limiting instruction as to how far they can go with this type of evidence.
All right, and jury selection starting today, this morning in Pensacola, Florida. Our team is there, and we're going to bring it to you live. We'll see what happens. It's a fascinating trial that we'll be watching unfold together here on Court TV.